Good afternoon, Professor. My name is Lanique Reese. I'm a student in your early childhood literacy summer course, and this video is to give you a brief summary of the IRI I did with a student and the program that I would set up for that student from the data that I collected. I'm going to give you a brief background of the student. He's a second grade, 7-year-old male that's in a self-contained class that has a 12-to-1 setting. He has a teacher in the classroom, a classroom para, as well as a para that's with another student. This student does not have a personal para. The class has between 8 and 9 students. We started out with 8, and then we had a student come in, and then the student left. This student is a young man that has been told by his parents that he can't do certain things. The parents have been telling us that he can't do certain things, but when he's in the classroom, that doesn't happen. He completes his work, he reads fine, and he's able to complete the work that we give him, because we would tell him that if he doesn't complete the work, he cannot go outside, and having those consequences, he would complete the work. So I'm going to speak to you first about the IRI, and then I'll go to the program I set up. These are the words that I had the student read to me. I started him with the pre-primer just to make him comfortable, being that I was doing assessment with him. And then he was able to read all the pre-primer, the primer, first grade, and the second grade level words with no problem. The second grade level words, he had 2 errors, but all the words he was able to pronounce them and read them clearly. With the passages, I found passages online because I was having trouble with photocopying them and printing them out from the book. So I found these online. It's another IRI that someone had posted online. The first story the student read was a primer story. It's Nick's Trip to the Lake. I had him read this story, half of it, aloud. He had no trouble reading the words, and I asked him some of the questions, which are in the back, and that's when he started to have trouble comprehending and being able to tell me what happened in the story, remembering what happened and being able to figure out some of the answers of what was in the story. Next, he read the other half of the passage silently to himself, and he was also asked questions then, and he had trouble comprehending what was going on in the story. The same went on for the instructional passage, which was first grade level. He had more trouble with this than he did with the independent. The independent, he was able to answer more questions. That's why I labeled this one instruction. The name of this story is Ben Helps His Mom. That's why I labeled this one instructional, because he had more trouble answering these questions than he did with the other ones, with the independent. The last one was the frustrational. It's Danny Goes to Camp. He read this story to me, and he was having so much trouble with the oral passage answering the questions. He read the passage with no problem, but the trouble happened when he started to read the questions. So he was having so much trouble that I decided to give him the listening portion, and I read this story to him, then asked him the questions, and he was able to answer the questions better with me reading it to him. He was on the level of answering the questions as the independent. He did better than answering the questions when he read it to himself with the instructional, with me reading it to him. So it helped me realize that he has more of a listening comprehension than a reading comprehension. This is the score sheet that I filled out when with the information I took while he was reading the passages. And this is the sheet that I filled out stating exactly what he completed, the data. Also, I transferred it to this sheet. With the program that I set up for him, I feel that he should stay with the Wilson program, because he gets pulled out for 2 teachers. One is for Wilson, a Wilson instructor, and the second one is speech. And I felt that he still needed those extra instructions, especially the Wilson, because with the Wilson, that's the reason I feel why he was able to read all the words through with no problems, because he was taught how to sound out words and how to use strategies to help him figure out words. So the first thing I started was I pulled these books out. It starts from kindergarten level, and they go all the way up to 3rd grade, where she would stop at 2nd. And with these books, I will have the student fill out this daily reading log, and I spoke to his parents, asking them to, with the lower level books, the kindergarten books, the smaller the book is, the lower the level, I asked them to split the book in half and have him read them for the first night, read one half, and fill it out and put the amount of pages he read, and then I gave them book reports to have him fill out the information, the comprehension he got from those books, what he comprehended from the books. He would fill out on the sheet. The next night he would split and do the other half of the book and do the same thing. Put the last 2 pages he read and fill out a book report. And the more comprehension I saw with him doing that, I would give them the next level book to work with him on. He was also given a set of vocabulary words, like you see the set here, but in each slot it's for 6 weeks, and each week will have a set of words that he'll already have the words, the parents will already have the words for him to use for each week. And with these vocabulary words, he would need to, on Monday, read the words and find the definition from the dictionary. Tuesday, he would have to put the words in a sentence. Wednesday, I told him he would have to select 4 of the words. If he wants to use more, he can, and write me a small passage and make sure he includes those words inside the passage. Thursday, he was asked to study the words with the definition, because Friday he would have a quiz on the words. Because I feel that in order for him to be able to comprehend the story, he would have to understand what the words, even though he can read the words, he doesn't understand what they mean. He would need to understand what the words mean in order to comprehend, along with other strategies he will be taught to figure out what words are and to figure out what meanings that are in the story, or if he needs to infer on something that's going on in the story, he will have strategies to work on to do that. Along with those 2 things, he will be given worksheets to fill out with more passages that he will have to read. And with these worksheets, they have questions that these were generated from Super Teacher, and they come with the passage. And it also generates questions that they feel are needed to answer to show comprehension and show understanding of the story. And with this, there's a few I have that one, which is Rock Band. These are samples of what he will be getting. This one is First Airplane Trip. This was a poem, because we're working on poems in this grade, so we'll give him a few poems also, because with this one he would need to use his inference strategies a lot with the poems, and with the stories as well, but a lot with the poems. This one is Buzz Buzz Bumblebee, and this one is A Ball for My Dog. They all have comprehension questions inside of them. And with these, he would do some in class, and then he will be allowed to take home the story. And he will also have to fill out, that I would generate some multiple choice questions. And the more he acquires the skills of comprehending the stories, he will be given short answer questions as well as extended response questions to fill out as well. And that's what I have, Professor, for my program that I would set up for the student to help him gain more strength with comprehending things that he's reading and being able to figure out what's going on and answer the questions. And also I would like him to be able to understand the words he's reading more, and have strategies such as using context clues or using word parts to be able to figure out what words mean. That's my brief summary of my IRI with the student and the program I was set up after for him to build strength in what he has weakness in with the IRI. Thank you, Professor. Have a good day.